So, all right, maintenance and vacancy costs. Talk me through it, buddy.
And I should point out that even though it was challenging, or it is challenging for all of you to get actual evaluations, unless you kind of have detailed conversations with providers, we have a relationship with a few of the providers out there. So what this allowed me to do is to actually look at their evaluations. And that's why I think this call is so crucial. We're going to get a little bit more granular because I want to show you where to look on their evaluation so that you can say the next time you're thinking about investing in a rental property, does that make sense? Or does that just not make any sense at all? So we're going to start with maintenance and vacancy costs. Here's a new one, a new way to sort of tell maybe a half truth that I hadn't even seen before I did this deep dive. So this top box here, right? It talks about maintenance costs in two different forms. Pablo, have you ever heard me differentiate between normal year maintenance or move out year maintenance?
I have not heard you differentiate between those two things.
I had never seen that differentiated before as well, but this provider actually breaks out normal year maintenance and move out year maintenance. So they say that there's 15% maintenance on the move out and 4% maintenance on the normal year. Why do you think they would do that? How do you think that that would help them if they said that they broke it out like that?
Oof, man, I'm having a hard time just understanding this. I would assume that this lets them hide turnover costs. I don't know, man. I'm confused.
Well, the first thing that it would mean to me is, listen, if I know that my sales team is going to get asked about maintenance cost all of the time, it's one of the first questions that investors ask when they're thinking about buying rental properties, because maintenance costs are such a pain point for investors. If my sales team was now equipped with a way to say, oh yeah, our maintenance cost is 4%, then maybe I could just break out normal year maintenance and only quote that one versus what the reality of maintenance costs are. So this is a way for somebody to quote, oh geez, yeah, we really have 4% maintenance costs. You didn't actually ask us what your move out year maintenance was, right? So it's a tricky way to be able to relate a lower maintenance cost for your sales team.
Okay. So it's a way to position your maintenance costs as lower than it really is. But isn't a normal year maintenance of 4%, is that high? Is that lower than what people are normally expecting? And that's why they're trying to say 4 and then hit you with a 15 on the move out year?
This is a renovated property. This is so low. I happen to know that this number is not even accurate, 4%, because I know exactly how they calculate maintenance, which is not accurate. But even if it was accurate, it is so low. So industry standard, many people will quote somewhere around maybe 7% for maintenance costs. JWB actually tracks it. We're the only one I know who actually tracks it. And we're at 7.5%, which is just so good. If you can actually, I would challenge anybody out there to actually be able to back up anything around 7.5% for maintenance costs. You're just not going to see it. So to be able to quote 4%, you take something that you're really bad at for maintenance costs and you make it sound incredibly good, better than the competition, right? Somebody who's in the sales process for this organization would leave and they would be told that their maintenance cost for their property is 4%. Whereas in JWB, we actually track it at 7.5% for us. And that 4% number is not even real. So somebody might leave and think, oh, well, JWB's properties, more maintenance costs. Maybe I won't go with them, which is just not true.
So you are positioning a number inside a prospect's mind that is lower than the expectation based on a technicality so that you can sell them on that thing is essentially what's happening here, right?
Yeah, and this is the first time, I've been investing for 17 years. I know how all the REITs and the private placement funds represent their maintenance costs. First time I've ever heard it broken out for move out year maintenance and normal year maintenance.
All right. So number one, ROI lie is maintenance and vacancy costs. Here's a provocative way of doing it is that they're going to quote you a super low normal year maintenance and then quote a move out year maintenance and give it to you that way.
There's more to that one. There's more to that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just getting started there, brother. Just getting started.
All right, bud.
Takeaway here is whenever somebody asks you or quotes you a maintenance percentage, ask them to back it up. You're going to be disappointed if you go with somebody else other than JWB. Ask them to back it up because they just don't have the data. But there's more than that. So the timing of when these maintenance issues or these maintenance costs and when these vacancy costs, the timing of when they reflected on their evaluations has a big impact, right? If you delay showing that there's a vacancy cost, like we see in the bottom picture here, you see year 1, it's 0, 2, 0, year 3, 0, year 4 is 0. What do you think that does to your cash flow?
Compresses it.
Well, your cash flows would actually be higher if they're not showing that vacancy cost as an expense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So everybody right now is knowing that cash flows are diminishing. They're all in an arms race, really, to how can I beef up my cash flows in the wake of diminishing cash flows? And they're saying, what can I do to get tricky to show that my cash flows are still high? Well, let me say that there's no vacancy cost in year 1, year 2, year 3, or year 4. And then in year 5, we'll just say that there's only vacancy in the 5th year. It's another tricky way to do this. Typically what you do, and this is just industry standard, you put a vacancy percentage in, this is what JWB does, and you reflect that every year. And it averages out. So this is another tricky way to artificially inflate cash flows.
Got it. Got it. The cash flows, which is what everybody kind of seems to gravitate towards. If you can pump them up a little bit with a technicality and just show first couple of years is this, then you're likely to see that and think it's a much more attractive investment.
And then the same thing for maintenance and repairs at the bottom. That 4% number, I don't trust. I know that it's not accurate for this provider because I know them. But even if I did, what breaking it out between 4% and 15% allows you to do is to, again, limit the cost in year 1, 2, 3, 4, because the only thing that matters for these providers out here is what cash flow number can they reflect year 1 for you. So this is another way to just say there's 4% of maintenance. Oh, no, you know what? They actually say 0 maintenance in year 1. I forgot. So it's 0 for year 1. They're artificially increasing their cash flows, especially for the first 4 years. And they say that you only have $1,600 of turn cost in year 5, which is also artificially low.
So breaking out move-in and normal year maintenance is one way to peg you to a lower number. Also, breaking that out makes the cash flow look higher, which is going to make you overvalue cash flow because we're naturally intended to see that. And that was DEFCON 1.